Hello there, fellow gamers. My name is Ashes, and I welcome you all to the channel. Today we are playing Red Dead Redemption number 2 online, and this is another ASMR reading. So in this one we're going to be continuing with our reading of Far Cry Absolution. We're going to be doing it slightly differently today because we've got the sound playing on the game Red Dead. We are on we're by a river, and it's very peaceful out here. This is actually an accident, me being here. I was currently in a town, and if you know Red Dead Redemption, you know, then you can get a bounty randomly put on you. Well, you have a bounty, and an event will trigger where players can come and get your bounty off you, and it happens at any time, no matter what you're doing. It'll trigger, and then suddenly you've got to survive for 4 or 5 minutes. So I couldn't really be bothered with this. Some player found me, and he killed me. And what happens is, when you respawn on a different part of the map, so you can't go after that bounty hunter, whatever. So I spawned here, and I was just walking along, and I thought, it's nice. This would be a good idea for me next reading. So we're gonna get to it now. Let's open the book. And take the front cover off. Okay, so we left off. The characters Will had killed Lonnie, and he now wants to. I think he wants to save Mary May, who's heading towards Church of Eden's Gate. I think he's starting to see things a bit differently now. So he's still trying to find her. Well, catch up to her. But anyway, let's start the reading. We are going to be continuing with Mary May now, and let's see what happens. Let's begin. Mary May had waited just long enough to see how many men had been following her. She watched the distant shape of a single man move down and away from the far ridge as he cut through the grass almost in the same path that she had surely followed. She could see the rifle on his back, and she watched him stop midway through, studying something he saw there in the grass. Without giving any more time for the man to catch her, she removed her boots and stuffed her socks down within. Then, with boots in hand and the 38 stuck back down the waist of her trousers, she set out, moving fast and making her way up a small rise to the north she knew might give her advantage of the land. She was careful with her movements as she went, knowing the man had tracked her this far and could likely track her further. She moved barefoot over the forest bed of the pine needles, and she stopped often to look back at her trail. She was leaving less of one, but she could still see in places a scruff of one foot followed by the other. She had grown up in these woods. She had been trained by her father and his friends to track and hunt, and she knew an experienced hunter could track just about anything over almost anything, except the smoothest rock or water. With hands outstretched, she moved onward up the slope as she made her way to the slight rise above. The slope now growing ever steeper in a way she had not calculated for, much of it hidden behind the dense trunks and underbrush of the forest. Halfway up she fell and slid 4 feet down, and getting to her feet she saw the dark scrape she had made there in the pine needles. She could do nothing for it, and she moved now, quicker even than she had gone before. Soon she gained a rise, and with a single scanning look down the way she'd come, she drew herself up and over a large outcropping of the rock there, laying herself out flat so that she could present the smallest profile. The rock on which she lay was like some backbone across the topmost portion of the race, but unlike the ridges and ranges she had crossed through earlier, it did not offer the view she had been hoping for. The rise only high enough above the forest floor to offer up the briefest view of the land beyond. In the silence that followed, as she listened to her heart beating in her chest, she thought she heard the sound of breathing. She held her own breath, steadying herself where she hid. In the far distance she heard the call of a shrike dusted up from somewhere on the other side of the rise. The bird's anxious call settling in across the forest as it flapped up along the rise, then came out above, moving past and then away, threading its way down into the trees beyond. For only a second did she keep her eyes on the path of this bird. She knew maybe he had simply started up out of some tree, called from the branches by some prey or thing it hunted. But she also knew that this was only hopeful thinking, that somewhere down below there was a man tracking her with a rifle. For a beat she looked down into the grey muted light of the forest. Afternoon was settling in, and the sun had begun to move away beneath the trees. She pulled herself back, moving on her stomach until she could stand safely out of view. Somewhere down below she knew she would come to a road, and further on the church, and hopefully, if she could find him, her brother. Okay folks, so we're gonna end the video here. I know it's another short one. What normally happens is when I'm recording the footage for you to watch, I never really know how long it is until I save the clip. When I was doing this it felt more like 15 minutes, maybe a little more, and I looked, it was only 10. But the next video is going to be over 20 minutes, and that's going to be, I promise, 20 minutes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading, this footage of nature, the birds. Got some pictures as well, and it's a very nice, peaceful night. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you all in the next one.